Hello, hello. Welcome back to United Astronomy Clubs of New Jersey. Welcome for our guests here in person to Jenny Jump Observatory. I hope you're all having a great, though very windy, rainy evening, which for our online viewers, you'll notice that we are inside. You'll also notice that I'm not Kim. I'm Dan, one of our observers here. Kim is at a Renaissance fair. So we're all very happy for her. She's probably watching me right now. She's gonna laugh about that. But yeah, so welcome to United. We are United Astronomy Clubs of New Jersey, and it behooves me to give the safety briefing. The safety briefing is unavoidable even in the rain. So we are using our headlights when entering and exiting the facility. Be careful. out there of the rain and also of the deer. There are deer on this mountain, and you will see them running across the street on your way down. If you're unlucky, well, if you're lucky, you'll see them. And for restrooms, there's a porta potty. We also have a gift shop, which I will be manning after the talk. Unfortunately, much like Kim, they have not found a way to allow me to be in two places at the same time yet. But once they do, it's all over for you. So anyway, we are United Astronomy Clubs of New Jersey. Check us out on our website. We also have a Discord. We have a Telegram. We're on all the social platforms. And giving the talk tonight will be Lonny Buinis. Lonny Buinis has been giving his What's Up talks since the Cretaceous period, which is when United Astronomy Clubs of New Jersey began. He holds degrees from Stevens Institute of Technology in Physics and Computer Science. And this is the second time I will mention that I also hold a degree from Stevens Institute of Technology and Computer Science. So we're buddies. But yeah, he holds those degrees, but his arms got tired. So he learned how to make space art, 3D animation, and videos. Lonny is the only member of the International Association of Astronomical Artists to specialize in VR worlds. His current projects include expanding his space history ebook and putting his pants on 2 legs at a time. And tonight's talk, What's Up in the June Sky?
Thank you, Dan. Oh, this is loud. Excellent. I'm glad the people who made it here live tonight are safe and sound. And greetings to the people online watching us. The main thing about the June sky that's very exciting is the solstice. And in different parts of the world, they call it different things. We have a friend in Australia who calls it the winter solstice, but we call it the summer solstice. So the internationally recognized name is June solstice. And that's the first thing I'm talking about tonight. It occurs June 21st, universal time 8:25. We are 5 hours different. That is behind universal time, because London is rotating into sunlight first, right? Think about how the Earth rotates to the east. And so we come up 5 hours later to the same time, the same place where the sun is. And so that's where the solstice is. That's where the others, I have a pointer. This is exciting. I'll need my bag here, and I'm wireless, so I can actually move without tripping. Let me show you my high-tech pointer. You've probably never seen this. The younger members of the audience are familiar with all kinds of technologies, but you probably haven't seen one of these. And that, I talked about this before in March. That's the March equinox, when the sun crosses the Earth's equator. So what we've done here is we've drawn the Earth's equator in blue out into space, and the path of the Earth around the sun out into space. And you can see equal days and nights happen when the sun crosses the equator, same amount of daylight all over the world. And finally down here at not 7:25, but 3:25 a.m., the sun is at its highest point above the equator. I picked 7:25 because where's the sun at 3:25 a.m.? You can't see it. So I'll be doing some trick questions like this throughout the presentation. See if anybody's paying attention. I'm watching you with my high-tech pointer. The other one broke. I had a laser pointer. It broke. So here's our plan. Here's what we're seeing tonight. I'm going to sit out of the way so you can see the screen clearly. We have the best time of all to see faint objects at night. It's not tonight, obviously. The clouds get in the way. But if it is clear, June 15th, you have 2 things happening. The moon is in the daytime sky. It's near the sun. You can't see it. Great. You can see faint clouds called nebulae. You can see star clusters. You can see fainter objects in the night sky. The worst time, end of the month, June 29th, full moon. You can't see anything. The moon, some planets, some bright stars. Mercury is its farthest distance away from the sun in our sky, placed nicely to see toward the east of the sun. So here at Jenny Jump at UACNJ, south is that way, If you're facing south, where does the sun set? Uh-oh. First tough question. That is correct. You win a trip home with me. This is my wife. The west is where stuff is setting. Mercury is elongated to the east to the maximum 24 and a half degrees away from the sun. June 17th, the moon is in front of a star cluster, and the solstice is the 21st. So everything's happening around the middle of the month. T. Corona Borealis, you heard me talk about this. If you've been to any of my other talks the past 2 years, I've been talking about this since April of 2024, and we're overdue for an exploding star, a nova. Let's do one thing at a time. Let's start with the moon. You can go to moongiant.com to see the current phase of the moon, which you won't see when you look in the real sky because it's cloudy. But this is what you would have seen. So my talk tonight is what would have been up. Right? This is the gibbous moon. It's not full, it's not a quarter, it's not a crescent. It's called the gibbous phase. And Moon Giant does other things, makes a very nice calendar where you can turn things on and off, like the main phases, the illumination level, the names of each phase. But we're going to ignore all of that in favor of the main phases. Again, full moon, terrible time to see other things because it's just too bright. Also, if you want to see detail on the moon, forget it. Where's the light source? Behind you. It's sun, earth, moon. Sun very far away, 400 times further away than the moon. So the light source coming directly in, no shadows. You want to see shadow detail when the moon is at last quarter or first quarter. And if you like to go to bed early, I have a friend who's a park ranger, 9 p.m., that's his time. You want to look at night when after the sun sets, the first quarter moon is due south. Very nice, easy to see detail in the shadows between the bright and dark area on the terminator. You do need binoculars or telescope to see little lights that look like cities right near the terminator. When I saw this, I was a kid, saw this in my telescope. I got very excited. I said, I didn't know there were cities on the moon. Were there in 1960s? Not yet. Well, right. Conspiracy theory. There are mountain peaks catching the rising sun. Great time to see stuff, faint stuff in the sky is the middle of the month. So check out Moon Giant. I don't work for them. Don't work for any website you're going to see tonight, but I use a lot of references. Full moon, if you go to starwalk.space, they have some great decorative, entertaining information about the moon. We've got the strawberry moon, usually in June, but this is also a micro moon. You've heard about the super moon, when the moon is so big it blots out the sky, right? No, I'll be asking trick questions. Play along. Super moon, the moon's a little bit bigger. Why? Because the moon does not orbit the Earth in a perfect circle. It's an ellipse. This is very, very exaggerated. If you could see the orbit of the moon, you would not be able to tell it from a circle. It's slightly squashed, but it is closer sometimes. And how you like that? I'm doing it backwards. It's closer and it's further away. A for away, apogee, that's further. P for pretty close, perigee. And we happen to have the moon sometimes lines up at perigee when it's full. So that's a micro moon. And the difference is so slight that you will not notice it by eye. If you want to find the planet Mercury, a good time to do it, June 15th. At 9 p.m., I chose what it would look like here at UACNJ. And there's these are the observatories. That's the house we're in right now. This is you. You're right there. See? This is my house. You would look at 9 p.m. Mercury is just becoming visible. The sky is still light, but be patient in the summer. Wait till it gets dark. If you wait too long, it'll be in the trees. If you live where I live, you will see houses. They're building, the houses used to be this high. They're tearing them down and replacing houses this high. So forget Mercury. You will see Jupiter and Venus, as I did couple nights ago. Beautiful um, grouping together, which goes by a name that I forgot. Not occultation, conjunction. Conjunction of the two planets. Venus, very bright. Jupiter, also very bright. Mercury, innermost planet to the sun. Kind of hard to see, but this is the time to do it. You know, since we're indoors, I can actually show you this using something that I normally don't outside because it's too bright. I'll try that if there's time. Evening planets. It's a very nice grouping. If you wait till the next day, the moon comes up and you'll see the new moon in the old moon's arms. You ever hear that? Very poetic. The crescent moon, right? The bright part lit by the sun is evident, but what's all this happening on the dark side? How can we see it? Where's that light coming from? Well, some of us know the answer. I'm going to tell Dan to be quiet for a moment. Well, the only place we know that has a lot of light near the moon is us, right? Clouds, oceans. The Artemis astronauts saw how bright the Earth really looks from space. It's not the way it looks in the photos. It's blindingly bright. If you want to see a realistic view, watch the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey from 1968. Stanley Kubrick got it right in 1968 before people went to the moon in 1969. That's Earthshine. And then Jupiter, Venus. The moon's going to pass all of these from the 16th to 17th, 18th. Don't miss it. Puts on a nice show. It crosses on the 17th in front of the Beehive star cluster M44 in Messier's catalog. Charles Messier was a 19th century astronomer. So back more than about 150 years ago or so, he made a catalog, the Messier catalog, French astronomer. And we use it nowadays to see there's competitions with amateur astronomers like Dan and others here to see if you can see all 104 in one night. It is possible. It has been done. Messier made that list because he was looking for comets, which are small and faint and fuzzy. And so he made a list of things to throw out. This is one of them. Why do we remember him? For the stuff he threw out. So, as my mother said, never throw anything away. Might prove useful. I had a light switch that lit up, like a toggle switch. And in our house, a light switch burned out. I had this toggle switch for 20 years. I never threw it out. I used it to replace the light in the cellar, and now I can see the light switch is lit up even when it's dark. So never throw anything away. Check out the Beehive. This is what it looks like. This is called an open cluster of stars, all born together, drifting through space. The sun is part of an open cluster of sun-like stars. G2, G stars, some K on the solar spectrum, the stellar spectrum, like us. But we can't see that circle of stars from the northern hemisphere. You have to go down south. And that's a good place to look for life on Earth-like planets, solar-like stars. Morning planets. Anybody have to get up early? Anyone? How about people outside? Yeah. Well, if you're up at 4:30, here's the time in Stellarium, a free computer program. You would look for Mars and Saturn on a straight line that goes right through the Fishes, sign of the zodiac. Anybody know it? Pisces, very good. And that's where you'll find Saturn. In Aries, the ram, which remarkably looks exactly like a ram. It's incredible. I'm looking askance at you. No? You see a ram here? If you don't, good, you're probably normal. That's where you look for Mars, the reddish bright star that usually doesn't twinkle. If it's very low, coming through a lot of turbulent atmosphere, it might. Saturn probably won't twinkle. That's how you tell a planet from a star. Special event. You've heard me talk about this over and over again. When is it going to happen? Every 80 years, this thing goes off on target, on time, as the material from this red giant double star spirals in and accretes around the tiny little white dwarf star the size of our whole world, right? So we have something bigger than the sun. The sun's 100 times bigger than our planet. Then there's the Earth and this tiny little white dwarf star sucking stuff into an accretion disk because it accretes. And every once in a while, that stuff builds up and explodes in a fusion reaction. And it outshines both stars put together. It outshines it by a factor of 1,600 times. When? When is it going to happen? Well, 1,600 times means it brightens from this terrible magnitude plus 10. The smaller the number, the brighter. Isn't that backwards? Yes. It's a logarithmic scale. Every 5 units is 100 times brighter. So from 10 to 2, visible to the naked eye, is 1,600 times. This will look like one of the stars in Cassiopeia or Corona the Crown, where the explosions are going to happen. And it is. It's going to happen, I promise. It didn't happen in 2024. They made predictions, they being Gene Schneider, made these accurate predictions based on the orbital period of the white dwarf star around the bigger star, 228 days. So every 228 days we expect, maybe now, nope. Okay, one more time, maybe now, March 2025, no. November, no. June 25th, I don't know. And if not, then maybe February of next year. So everybody keep an eye out for this. I promise you, the major media, television, internet, it'll be on there for 4.5 seconds. Don't miss it. Meteor showers this month, nothing. Sorry to disappoint you. The big one is coming in August. If you miss all the meteors of the entire year, this is the one you're going to want to see because it's a wonder. It's got everything. It's got the summer temperatures. Sometimes the moon gets in the way. It's got volume, like 60 an hour, maybe one every minute. It's got mosquitoes. You name it, it's got it. Also, in December, the Geminids put on a nice show around Christmas or before. And the peak this year, even though there's a bell curve, you can see it for some of part of July into August. Best time in August 12th to 13th. I'll be talking about this in You'll Never Guess. What's up in wrong? Oh, wait. No, you're wrong. Constellations. I probably better show you this with a live computer program. I'll do it this way first. To get started, you want to go to our gift shop. Ooh, shameless plug. And buy yourself a cheap paper planisphere. If you go camping, this thing's going to turn soggy. So you could invest in a plastic planisphere. I have 2 of these. I have a small one and 2 of the big ones for different latitudes. So you can actually get one for the southern hemisphere, for 30 north, for 40 north. We are close to 40 north. It's cheap. This is much cheaper. It's really cheap here. Check out our gift shop. All right, a shameless plug done. The program Stellarium is like a planisphere, except that you can do a lot more. You can zoom in and out, and instead of showing you still slides like this, and this, and this, and this, why don't we do something a little more exciting? I'll come back to these. Let's look at Stellarium. So I'm going to take a departure, something I would not have done if we'd been outside, because in the summer, it gets light very late. And it's hard to see the screen with my projection. Stellarium is free. It's already up to version 26 point something or other, so I'm a little behind, but they update it freely. It's open source. Programmers in the audience, you can contribute to it. And it's showing us the sky right now, and I've turned on the names of constellations and their outlines. And this is what we're seeing. Marvelous. An accurate representation of the sky. This is why what we want to do is travel through time, which you can easily do in Stellarium. Note the countdown, 17, 18, this is real time. You can freeze time, you can set the time, and I'm going to pick exactly 9 o'clock when things are, as we scientists say, terrible for seeing the sky. What's 21 minus 12? Shout it out. You know, this is very informal. You can interrupt me. 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. Sky's getting dark. Still not so good. How about we go forward a minute at a time to 9:30? I'm going to pick 9:30 as my standard viewing time each day because the sky will change night to night. Why? Look at that. I'm looking at the same time, exactly 9:30 over several nights. Today is the 6th. Why does it shift? That's peculiar. Something's moving. Yeah, the Earth's rotating. And it not only rotates, but it's moving around the sun. So we're getting slightly different views every night. I like to cheat. I call it cheating. I use these outlines that you'll see on star charts. I like to leave the cardinal points up, south, southeast, southwest. And if you really want to get oriented properly, you're going to want to look to the north first to find two familiar, well, they're not constellations. This and this are asterisms, star pictures. And this one is part of a constellation, one of 88 officially recognized in 1930, long ago. I don't remember 1930. I'm not that old, but my wife will explain to you that I did live in the time of the dinosaurs when UACNJ was constructed way back in 1994. She helped build it. We have the Big and Little Dippers are part of constellations. This one's also a full constellation. It's called Ursa Minor. Bear, small. And this is Ursa Major, Bear Large. But I'm not going, oh, you can see different cultures, by the way, in Stellarium. You can see ancient Aztec, current Chinese, Mayan, all sorts. Not just the standard based on Greek mythology. But if you wanted to find the North Star, very easy to do. If you can see the Big Dipper, it is up very high this time of the year. Take the pointer stars, Merak, Beta Ursa Major, and Dubhe, Alpha Ursa Major. We grade them by their brightness, alpha, beta, gamma, delta, Greek alphabet. Take their distance apart 5 degrees 5 times. 5 times 5 is 25 degrees, and you're here. We measure everything in the sky in angle, not in linear measure. So if you hold your fist out at arm's length, that's very roughly 5 degrees. And this generally works for you no matter what your size. So hold your fist out, hold it between Merak and Dubhe, go 5/5 down, and you'll see the North Celestial Pole is very close to the North Pole Star. I happen to hit Starlink instead. How am I hitting a Starlink that must be very close to the North Star? Stop that. Oh. All right, there it is. That's Polaris. That's how, at 9:30 tonight, everybody run outside and look for Starlink passing right by the North Star. Will you see it? Not tonight, right? Try another night. Who knows? Now, some people don't know there are 7 brighter stars that you can see in the Little Dipper. From where we live in Bergen County, I see this one and maybe one of these, maybe often not. That's how bad it is with light pollution. 7 stars in the Little Dipper. The Big Dipper has 8, even though we can count 7 easily. If you have sharp eyesight, look in the bend of the handle and find Mizar and Alcor, an accidental double. Mizar is 81 light years away, and Alcor has no relation at 80.6. It's too far away. They're not bound by gravity, just an accident. But Mizar is a spectroscopic binary, so close we can't split them. They revolve about each other. 8 stars. This is I'm sorry? Stellarium. I'm going to give the reference later if you like to take a picture, take notes. Nobody knows what a pen is anymore, a pencil. Nobody uses that. But I don't see anybody taking notes on a tablet or phone either. That's all right. There'll be a test later. You'll be sorry. Other constellations in this area spin round and round the North Pole and never rise or set. The King, Cepheus. The queen is too low. She looks like the letter W, Cassiopeia. The dragon in between. The further away you go from north, the more stars rise and set. And so, what I want to do here at Jenny Jump, I want to orient you and say this way south. You want to look that way. You want to get oriented looking north, find the Big Dipper, North Star. Turn around so you're oriented to south and look to your right quickly before things set. If you have trees in your area, houses, you want to do this soon after sunset or maybe before so you can see this beautiful conjunction of Venus and Jupiter, the bright planets. Galileo noticed that, oops, I have to do it this way. Notice that Venus and Mercury, the inner planets, have phases. I have a malfunctioning space bar, so I'm going to have to do it like that. Venus has a phases like the moon. It's in gibbous phase right now. And it's super bright because it's very close to us, covered with clouds. Jupiter, great telescopic object recently, but unfortunately it's getting lower and lower in the sky. At 9:30 tonight, or tomorrow night, well, maybe not tomorrow night, because these stars change position rapidly. They are the four big moons of Jupiter. If I were to move forward through, I can't track Jupiter, sorry. Move forward through time and change time even minute by minute, you'd see these moons moving back and forth like beads on a wire. Very cool. And you could see some detail on Jupiter in a small telescope. Bigger telescopes show a tremendous amount of detail. Clouds, storm clouds like these ovals here, the size of Earth, and the biggest storm, the red spot, not visible at 9:31 or 9:30. So check that out. Come here, look through the telescopes in our observatories. The amateur astronomers will be very happy to help you. Just please, please don't kick the tripod. You'll knock things out of alignment. These beautiful planets are amongst a famous zodiac sign, twins. Next to Cancer, crab, looks just like a crab. It's amazing. That's where you find the beehive cluster. But these things are disappearing quickly. What you want to do is then move towards the south. This is your chance this month and next to begin to see the scorpion, Scorpius. The head, the claws got cut off to make Libra the scales. This is the one time of year you can see it from New Jersey. Much better placed next month. What's up in the July sky? So don't miss that. I'll be here all year, folks. Currently, the planets, the sun and moon, pass through these signs of the zodiac, Virgo, Libra, Scorpius, but they also pass through Ophiuchus, the serpent bearer. Boy, it's hard to say, bearer. Serpens cauda and serpens caput. Tail, cauda, head, caput, in two parts. This constellation was split. The zodiac signs are now number 13. Some astrologers haven't accounted for this because the Earth over a period of 25,000 years wobbles in a circle like a spinning top, being pulled on by the sun and Jupiter and other planets. And so every 25,000 years we make a full circle back to the North Star. Thousands of years ago, that was not our pole star. Right now, the planets pass through here. They did not thousands of years ago. All right, I'm taking out the pictures. I'm leaving the lines in. If you look higher in the south, you'll see summertime stars coming up. Corona the Crown, and this is where the explosion's going to happen, I promise. All right, don't make a bet on me, but it's late, but it has been going like clockwork for 80 years, so it's just a little late. The Nova T Corona Borealis, and that is the Northern Crown Corona Borealis. You'll never guess what Corona Australis means. Go ahead. Any bold members of the audience? Wild guess. Corona Australis. It's like, yes, Australian. I like that. Australia, right, is in the south. Australis, Southern Crown. This is our northern crown. Right here, find the letter H, or the keystone that you find in arches. And look a third of the way down from the top star, or 2/3 of the way up from the bottom for what I like to call a fuzzy cloud. That's what it looks like in binoculars or a small telescope. Bigger telescope shows dozens of stars, bigger yet hundreds to thousands. There are 500,000 stars in this globe-shaped cluster. So you'll never guess the official designation for such a thing. There are many thousands of these ancient objects orbiting our Milky Way in all different directions and orbits. They're called globular clusters. Whew. Boy, science. I tell you, it's hard to figure out how scientists name things. That's one of the most famous, M13 in Charles Messier's catalog. And it's a really good time of year to see it because it's high. You're not looking through a lot of hazy atmosphere. Get out your binoculars. Check it out. Check out Hercules, who's often drawn upside down. I don't know why. Poor Hercules. Those are the stars you would see higher in the sky. If you do crane your head back far enough while you're facing south, don't hurt your neck, you'll see the Big Dipper. You'll find the arc that arcs to the fourth brightest star in the night sky. Arcturus has an orange color in the real sky, not so much in stellarium. Bluish color, Spica in Virgo. Arc to Arcturus, you can do this on a star chart very easily. Arc to Arcturus, speed to Spica. Your eye has just behaved like a spectroscope, taking the temperature of stars. So we have stars like Arcturus, orangish or reddish, cooler than the sun. Spica, hotter than the sun, up to 20,000 degrees. The sun, 10,000, it's nothing. Average star. It would look yellow from a distance. Kind of like one of the stars in the Twins. Castor, is it Pollux? Yeah, Pollux is a yellowish star. So there you have the whole sky in a nutshell. I went through it very quickly. So let me review. Oh no. Will there be a test? No, there won't. So you want to go out, face north, find the Big and Little Dipper. Big Dipper's high this year. Easy. 5 times the distance between, or the angle, not distance, the angle between the pointer stars finds you the north celestial pole. Will you see the letters NCP out in the sky? No. Will you see the X? No. But you will see that Polaris is very close. The people in the southern hemisphere do not have a bright star near the South Pole. They won't for a few more thousands of years. Stick around. So high in the south, the herdsman say the letter E, but make your lips do an O. Buotes. Buotes. There's an umlaut there. Or you can say buotes if you want, or booties. Say whatever you like. The crown next to him and next to the crown Hercules. If you remember, Hercules, one of his labors was to retrieve a crown of jewels. Below Arcturus, Virgo. Leo, next to her, was the principal sign of spring. You'll see Leo, the lion, disappearing in the west. And that was a good time to see galaxies. We already said whatever. There he is. Booties, Boertes, booties. And there he is again on a star chart. Messier 3 is right nearby, another globular cluster. In an 8-inch telescope on the left, in the much bigger telescope, the Hubble, on the right. Scorpius is the correct name to astronomers. Scorpio, I believe, is a astrology name. Good place to see all kinds of interesting stuff because we're getting close to the center of our Milky Way galaxy. But I'm not talking about that till what's up in July. Thank you. That's low in the south. We conclude with the east, where the summer triangle is coming up. We see 2 of the stars in the triangle, Vega or Vega in the harp or lyre, And the cross, or Cygnus the Swan, has a beautiful tail star, Deneb. Lots of stuff to see there. I'm not going to talk about that just yet. But that, again, is what the sky looks like from here at 9:30 when things are just starting to get dark. And I'll tell you, I've seen the sky when it's dark here. I was amazed to see a nebula with my naked eye one summer down in the south in July when the Milky Way's center is visible. Above the center, above the teapot, or Sagittarius the Archer, looks like a teapot to me, you'll see a fuzzy cloud, the Lagoon Nebula. It's visible to the unaided eye here. It's incredible. Normally visible only in binoculars or telescope. It's a birthplace of stars. And I'll talk about it next time. The nebula, visible to the naked eye. That's how clear the sky gets here sometimes. It's wonderful. So, how would I get started? Binoculars is a great way. If you have bird watching binoculars, that's kind of tough. I recommend giant binoculars. They've come way down in price. I bought a pair to see Halley's Comet in 1984 for $200. These are bigger, 25 by 70. That's millimeters, 70 millimeters. The first number is what? Times. How many times bigger? Magnification. So 20 by 80s, that's kind of big. That's kind of heavy. 7 by 50s is standard bird watching, spying on your neighbor binoculars, sporting binoculars. I recommend if you can get bigger ones, do that. Get a tripod. I use the roof of my car. I have 9 by 63s. I use railings. Railings work very well because it's kind of hard to counter that motion. So those are some samples. Telescopes, I think we were selling the Celestron First scope here for $79. Incredibly inexpensive. A few accessories that will add to that a little bit. If you want light, if you want a bigger scope so you can see fainter objects, then a Dobsonian is an economical design. And these go for a few $100s. They use mirrors. Light comes down to the bottom, comes up to the top, and goes to that. Oh, let me use my sophisticated pointer. Goes to a second mirror, comes back down again. So the light path is very long, and you get good magnification because of that long focus. Reading. Oh, no. Does anyone still read here? Raise your hand if you're bold. Excellent, sir. I am glad because got lots of reading for you, all of you. Sky and Telescope and Astronomy are in print. They've been in print for decades. Beautiful color illustrations. You can contribute. You could write articles. You can go online. You could subscribe. If you don't want to pay anything, huge parts of their websites are free, absolutely free. And if you forget everything else tonight, everything that I've said, this is really easy to remember. Space.com, I use it all the time. Exploration of space, life out there, real astronomy, space exploration, spaceships, all kinds of things. There are apps for everyone, for Apple users, for astrophotographers. Best overall, Sky Safari. I use Stellarium, the app version of what you just saw me using, the laptop desktop version. Anybody know what a desktop is? Oh, a few. Yes, very good. Here's other ones. Entertainment, NASA app. I like Stellarium Mobile. I've used that to show me what I cannot see in my light polluted sky. And then I know, oh, that's where Jupiter is. Okay, move the telescope. And Starwalk, good for beginners. Skyview is another one that I've used. There's several dozen, and they're all free. Free. Space.com, look up apps. I mentioned Stellarium. Stellarium.org is where you can get it to download it. If you don't like downloading stuff, go to stellarium-web.org and use their supercomputers to simulate the sky in real time. It helps to have a nice connection, of course, but it works on almost anything. And the Stellarium Mobile is free. It's great. Works great. These are the sources I've used for tonight's talk. Go-Astronomy, space.com, that you can get nice calendars, list of events, much more detailed than what I told you tonight. They'll tell you, I think it's Starwalk will actually tell you what the moon does night by night. The moon's near Jupiter, the moon's near Venus, and on what date. So if you're too lazy to go out and look at the moon, you'll know exactly what's going to happen. Timeanddate.com is great. They've got perpetual calendars, uh, all sorts of things. Time zone maps, so you know what's happening elsewhere in the world. So to review, oh no, you knew this was coming, right? All right, so best time to see faint objects. New moon. Where's the moon? Where is it? It's in the sky. Where? What constellation is it near? Ooh, that's a trick question. Is it in the night sky? No. Right? So the moon goes all the way around, right? It's in the daytime. It's right near the sun. Why isn't it in front of the sun every month? Shouldn't it, if it's going around the Earth, lined up with the Earth's equator, it should hit that sun. We should have a nice solar eclipse every month, right? We should. But the moon doesn't orbit like that. The moon's tipped a little. And the whole orbit precesses, so once in a while, the moon lines up with the sun. That's why you have only a couple of solar eclipses a year. You have several lunar eclipses a year. The moon's also tilted. Why can't anything cooperate? The moon's tipped. The Earth is tipped. The Earth's not lined up with the sun's equator. It's a mess. Mercury, good time to see the innermost planet the same night. June 17th, the moon's in front of a beautiful star cluster. It's low, but you might want to check it out. And T Corona Borealis, please do not write to me, email. My phone number is also on my website. Don't call me complaining that it didn't go boom, because it's not my fault. I should be a politician. It's not my fault. Somebody else, someone else. Here's where you find me at astronomyinmotion.com, all one string. The name, I got help for the name from my wife, who I've never paid for narrating dozens of videos that you can play for free. There's a 3D model of Mars. You can zoom in, you can zoom out, you can click on hyperlinks. Actually, you can click on links down below where Jan narrates 10 principal features of Mars. And I still haven't paid her. So check me out, Astronomy in Motion. You'll find my contact information. I'm going to stick around for questions from both live audience here and the live audience out there in Cyberland. You've been a very good audience. Thank you. Thanks. Here's where you can find, Dan might want to remind you, here's where you can find us.
Yes. Okay. So I will once again force you to listen to the safety briefing, because the safety briefing is inescapable. Please, on your way out, use your headlights. Be careful and watch out for any deer on your way down the mountain. Unlikely that you're going to be spending a lot of time outside given the weather, but generally, if you are using a flashlight to see where you're going, please keep pointing at the ground. We love the flashlight raves, but not at the observatory. We can keep those for elsewhere. When we have time later, I'll tell you a story about a flashlight rave. Okay, so one other thing I also need to mention is that we are building a new observatory here at Jenny Jump. We are putting in a 25-inch telescope, which will be the largest telescope on this mountain when it is installed. That's called the Midkiff. Currently, the largest telescope on this mountain is the 20-inch Dobsonian, which my club owns, and I will continue to take credit for having the biggest telescope on the mountain until it is finished.
While you can, Dan, while you can.
Yes. But if you want to support construction of the Midkiff, you can check out our website, uacnj.org, or our fourth wall, store.uacnj.org, so you can get some swag for this new telescope. There's a t-shirt that says, I help support the 25-inch Midkiff telescope, and all I got was this shirt. But yeah, so I will, now that you've had some time to marinate on your thoughts, I will turn it over to you for questions. I'll start with a question from our online audience. That wasn't the question. That was my reaction to bumping into that object. Did we ever figure out if there were individual names for each new moon?
Oh, that's a really great question, because I found also at Star Walk and Go Dash Astronomy, I think there is a calendar for new moon names, Native American names. Yeah. Yeah, that's less popular, but I think it exists. I will research that for what's up in July.
Also, I have a fact check. I have a fact check for you.
Uh-oh.
So you said that. So this is this is not incorrect, or it's not incorrect information. It's outdated information. You said that Mizar and Alcor are independent. That they are what we call a
Visual double.
visual binary. That's not true. They
Ah.
are. We now know, and it's actually because we discovered that Alcor has a companion. We're able to get
Ah.
more accurate distance data. So it does. The current consensus is that Mizar and Alcor are gravitationally bound to one another,
Ah.
but they're really far away. They're like a third of a parsec away. So their orbit around one another, if they are orbiting, takes like a quarter of a million years.
That's like 65,000 times the distance from Earth to Sun. So way
Yes.
out there.
So
That
a very loose system.
right, they found that those long orbiting stars or and even slow rotating objects like galaxies were at one time explained by modified gravity, MOND, but recent studies have shown that dark matter describes those rotations much better than MOND, so MOND is officially dead.
Yeah, I think I agree with that.
It's an
I'm,
SV.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure the Mond is. Why do I keep doing this?
Careful, you're
Oh,
going to
it's
kill
because
yourself.
this is over here. I don't want to stand there. Hackers. Yeah. Okay. So, do we have any questions in the audience? I saw his hand first.
Thank you. Hello. Okay. Thank you for everything. Something that came up for me while you were speaking was I kept thinking about the question of scale and just
Mhm.
scale as a concept. I feel like there are different ways to understand scale, and it can be really abstract at times. And I was thinking to understand all of this, I guess one kind of needs to think big, literally and figuratively. And I was thinking about how like the default is not to understand scale. Like when I came into this talk, I had to consciously think about things differently to try to even conceive of how abstract these things are.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yep.
guess I was curious what your first experiences were that made you think about scale differently, and if you have thoughts on how to kind of teach people how to think about scale or rethink about scale or intuitively understand scale when it's such a hard thing to grasp.
That's an excellent question. There are tools now that exist now that did not when I was young. When I was young, I would lay out a tape measure on the floor, make up scale models of where the moons of Saturn were, and I'd pace up and down memorizing their names and looking at how far apart things were. The Everything is very spread out. Um, there is a website called If the Moon Were One Pixel. Check that out. They actually have the scale. They take you through the entire solar system. You can scroll left to right, and you'll see messages like, it's taken a really long time, isn't it, to get from the sun to even Mercury, and then between the outer planets forever. So they'll have little jokes along the way. But if the moon were 1 pixel, Earth would be about 4. And so they put that whole scale of the solar system down on this website, and it's terrific. It's a terrific way to get a feel for how spread out things are. What I did when I was young was make miniature models of scale models of cars, gluing them together. I made in my mind, I calculated what the solar system would look like scaled down. I actually built a model. Pluto was way out there. I would try to bring things down to a graspable concept, to something that my mind could grasp, that I could see to scale. And I did many different scales. And by the time you get to the galaxy, things are so spread out and far apart, it's really hard to imagine. I like Stellarium is great for viewing from the Earth, but if you really want to get a feel for how long it takes to move between objects, go to celestia.space and download that and install that. There you can fly between the planets. You can see what the Earth looks like from the moon, what Saturn looks like from its moons. You can fly outside our galaxy. It's pretty cool. You can even see what constellations look like from other stars. From Alpha Centauri, the W Cassiopeia has an extra star, the zigzag, the sun. And the constellations are a little bit skewed. The further away you get, Alpha Centauri is only 4 light years away. Further away you get, the more distorted all the other constellations become. So the short answer is see if you can make mental models pencil and paper, but whatever you use, computer models, 3D models. There are many computer programs that do this well. You can build models for free in Blender, blender.org. That's a program I use to create 3D animations. But there are even simpler ones. And that's what I would do. Try to bring things down to some manageable size.
I'll
Good, very
also
good.
I'll also add that we have you can find some physical models of our solar system, including one that we have here in Jenny Jump State Park. If you when you leave the observatory, if you take a right turn, there's a little parking area right beyond the campground where we have our sun, and we have a solar system trail that's scaled down to fit within the park. I promise you'll be huffing and puffing by the time you get to Uranus. But yeah, there's one more question from online. Uh, um, actually, this is a fun fact regarding the meteor showers. On nice clear nights, not around meteor shower times, you can often catch sight of a stray meteor or two. I've definitely seen a few of them. They can happen at any old time.
Wh-
Yeah, I just wanted to know the moons, the Native American names for the different moons, like flower moon and strawberry moon.
Mhm.
Was that be seasonal, or what did that have to do with? Like, why did they choose those names?
Mhm. Right. I don't know if people out heard that question, but the names given by Native Americans to the full moons had to do with when crops were planted, when was the best time to hunt the bucks, when the bucks came out, when the flowers appeared, the pink flowers, so the pink moon, when the flowers blossomed. So often it had to do with nature because they were very closely aligned with these seasonal changes. But I have found frequently, I've looked at all the names. I used to list all the names I can find of the Native American full moons for each month. There were often as many as 21 because there were that many tribes that lived in the early Americas. So you know what? I might do that again for July. It's a good question. I'll put all the names of the full moons that I can find, and I'll look for the names of the new moon. Thanks.
And another question from online: when is the next time we'll gain or lose a sign of the zodiac?
Well, you can actually, in Stellarium, you can fast forward to the future. You can go forward faster and faster. You can do that in Celestia as well. You can watch the precession circle and how the Earth's axis follows it. You want to do that? Do we
But
have time?
wouldn't the precession of the Earth's axis, like this doesn't change the zodiac constellation?
It does because the ecliptic, which is the path that the sun follows, will wobble along with the pole.
Oh,
It's like a big
okay.
top. Just draw the equator of a top out into space. You see it doing this. So it goes through different parts of the sky, picking up different constellations. Aries, what else is in that area? Corvus? No. Orion is right at the equator. Maybe one day Orion will be a zodiac
Taurus
sign.
is kind of close. It's like it's below the
I, you know,
ecliptic.
I will, for next time, I'll find out when Orion becomes a zodiac sign.
That's
That would be cool because that's the most easily recognized constellation. I was lost on my bicycle at night once in Somerville, and I looked and I saw Orion and I knew exactly what direction to go. I don't ride my bicycle at night anymore.
Can I ask three last really quick questions?
Sure.
If not, no problem. They're all different, but maybe somewhat related. The first question is, I'm curious what you think about satellites and how many satellites are going into space.
Mm.
The second question is whether you think we'll catch more aurora nearby in the coming months. And the third question is, if one of us were to go see the solar eclipse later this year, someone who's seen the solar eclipse before, in totality, is there still any advice you would have for how to go about seeing it? Maybe I'm curious if there's any specific thought you might have to that.
Sure. So satellites, aurora, and solar eclipse. First, satellites, I've been reading a lot about the Kessler effect. We used to be months away, and now we're probably only days away from a catastrophic failure since we keep putting up more and more Starlink and other satellites. If one were to be impacted and shatter into pieces, because some of these satellite systems are so close to one another, we could have a runaway effect where the debris field creates more debris and more debris and more debris. There are studies by a Japanese company now sending up satellite to see if they could try to capture satellites or some of this debris. And I think that will be a banner business if you want to make money. Boy, you might even be able to convince Elon Musk to fund your satellite cleanup campaign because he's the one creating some of the problem, right? We get great internet access with all these satellites, but we also get this risk of the Kessler syndrome. Look it up. So my feeling is, as as a person who doesn't photograph the sky, I can speak for amateur astrophotographers. It's a terrible nuisance. You have to process them out somehow when you capture the streaks of satellites. For the internet, it's great. For scientists, not so much. It's an interference. And I just hope that we can solve the problem of clutter in time. My wife likes to use the word clutter. We don't like clutter in our house. We certainly don't want it up there. Secondly, aurora. Last night I went out to try to see the aurora. Was it last night or 2 nights ago? Because we had a solar flare, and that's a great time to go and see if those particles have reached the Earth and interacted with our atmosphere, ionizing the gases, stripping away electrons that then go back to their energy level, giving off light. Green for oxygen, purple for, what's purple? Nitrogen. I would love to see aurora again. I saw it once here over the roof of this building in the north. It was wonderful. Curtains, shifting curtains. But I was not successful last night or 2 nights ago. I think it was 2 nights ago. I saw Venus, Jupiter, and right down below them, a thick layer of haze. So I'm going to keep trying. Once in a while, the flares are so powerful that a few days later, when the particles reach us, the aurora come all the way down to New Jersey. And then you asked about solar eclipses. My wife and I went to Watertown to see the eclipse of April 13th. Was it? Was April of April 8th? Thank you, Dan, of 2024. And even though it was partly cloudy, we did see it. It was magnificent. If I want to see it again, I'm not going to Spain, but I might like to travel to Australia. That's kind of far. Alaska is cold. I'm thin. I don't like cold, but maybe Alaska. And those are coming up in just a matter of a few years. Yeah, 2029, 2033, I think. Somewhere around there. But we'll see. If we can afford to travel, I might like to do it. Once you see one, you'll be hooked. My friend Barry has seen 14, I think. I think he said something like that. You have to travel to see that. Next one in the United States won't be for a long time. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have any advice for the viewing experience, like in the moment? How to?
You know, you have to be careful not to get carried away with your equipment. If you can automate it, have it track the sun and go ahead and shoot your video. But you do want to appreciate it from the perspective of the naked eye. Because it's just, I can tell you, the clouds were illuminated by orange street light. So we had that. But the corona of the sun is orange, and right around was an orange rim. There was a bluish color coming from somewhere, maybe the sky. We saw the shadow come in at hundreds of miles an hour and sweep over. It was just, it's almost overwhelming. And the birds and the animals get all confused. It gets dark. It's just, it's an experience that you have to appreciate in toto, in full. Yeah, I recommend it.
Yeah, I will also say, like, if you're going to watch an eclipse, there's 2 ways to do it. You can either plan it like a heist, meaning that you're like ready for the clouds and everything's in the car, and if you think there's going to be a clear spot nearby, you pick up stakes and move, or you just pick one spot and hope for the best. That's what I've done. Yeah, you want to, like, if you're trying to photograph it, you want to get that equipment automated. One trick I've seen people do is they'll have the solar filter on the camera So they'll have a landscape photo they're taking where you see the sun and the moon eclipsing it, and they have like a little hinge or some kind of mechanism to just like release the lens. So when it's at totality, they can get that photo, because you don't want to have your sun or your camera lens pointed at the sun for an extended period of time. It will damage the sensor. But during totality, you can get a nice photo. I would also have to be talked into you traveling for the eclipses. The one in Egypt, or has that already happened? The one in Egypt? Yeah, because you got the pyramids. You can see where all those aliens came down and give us all the technology. That's a joke. That's a joke. Just want to be clear about that. But yeah.
Yeah, we do joke
Any
around.
more questions? One last call for questions.
I want to thank all of you in the audience for coming out on such a vigorous night, to use a polite term. You all deserve stars, but do enjoy our gift shop and look around and come back another time.
Yeah, thanks for everyone who joined us on the live stream. Thank you for everybody for coming out tonight, and don't forget to patronize the gift shop. And Kim says, "Hey."
Oh, very nice. Hi,
Hey.
Kim. Hey, Kim.
Hi, Kim.